Shavua Tov everyone, and somehow a time that we prepare ourselves for Kol Nidre and Yom Kippur service. So I would like to talk with you about the meaning of Kol Nidre. There is a question that always posed to our mind and heart. There are our fellow brothers and sisters who are somehow do not find themselves connected to the life of the synagogue, yet when it's come to the service of Kol Nidre, all of a sudden you see them flocking to the shul by so many. The question is, if you look at the Kol Nidre itself, is almost like a legal statement, and you ask yourself, what is Kol Nidre so special? You can't tell me it's just the rendition, it's just the music that cause our people to go to a synagogue and being part of these so special services. I would like to start with a story that happened approximately 100 years ago. It was a well-respected in the secular world, a Jewish scholar by the name of Franz Rosenzweig. The story goes when he was 27 years old in Berlin, Germany. Those years it was the Enlightenment movement, which you see some consequences to this very day. And obviously the influence of Christianity caused him to think about even converting to Christianity. But before he made that decision, he decided to give a last chance and go and visit synagogue for Kol Nidre services of Yom Kippur. And the story goes that he stayed there in a very observant congregation in Berlin. This is middle of 1920, and he was so moved and so attached to Kol Nidre services that not only he decided not to convert to Christianity, but also to be in a way more traditionalist. He wrote the famous masterpiece that it's called The Star of Redemption, as well as other pieces. He died unfortunately at a very young age, at his 40s, but he left in academic world a very important message to the world. So again, why Kol Nidre? The first Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi, he explained to us the deep meaning of Kol Nidre. You find also in the literature of the Franz Rosenzweig, and in a way there is a mechanism between the two worlds. The idea of saying the word ve'esarei, Kol Nidre, all my vows, and prohibitions, ve'esarei. So the word esarei in Hebrew, Aleph, Samech, Reish, is not only prohibition, it's also asir, asir meaning a prisoner. And the idea is, a person that committed a sin, they tell us that he is a prisoner of himself. Meaning, in a way, you committed a sin, you confess it, you said, I'm sorry, God forgives you. But the resonance, the feeling, the craving, the connection of the past do not let you go. You are a prisoner of yourself. You're craving to that past experiences. You talk to people who are in AA recovery of alcohol. You talk to people who try to recover from drugs. You talk to people who have the issue with being impetuous of purchasing things. They walk in the store, in the mall, they cannot control themselves. You talk to people who are very much with food desire and more in any field and endeavors. There are people in gambling and many others who cannot control themselves. So in a way, even somehow temporarily, either by medication or by treatment or by group support, they somehow out of the trouble or commit themselves to a better life, but there's still something there that crave to that sin, that crave to that experiences that they have once. And therefore, a person goes before God and said, Ve'esarei, I ask you, you Almighty God, who is the one who created me, you are the God who are my real Father, Father in heaven and Father that watch over us and me and everyone, and therefore please release my own need of craving, my own iniquities, that something in my psyche, in my mindset, is still there, still yearning to that prohibited item. It's a fascinating story in the Talmud, Tractate Bava Metzia. As you know, in the Talmud there are many amazing rabbis. One of them, his name is Rabbi Yochanan, and he was a well-known, handsome young rabbi. And the story goes that the head of the thieves, the robber, nowadays the head criminal, his name is Reish Lakish. And once they met, and Reish Lakish commented and he said, Rabbi Yochanan, you look so handsome, young man. Rabbi Yochanan looked at him and he said, guess what? I have a sister that's much beautiful than I am, and I can set you up if you come with me. Study Aleph Bet, study Torah, study Talmud and more, and the rest is history. Reish Lakish joined him. He became Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish. The Talmud replete with disputation, friendly disputation between two brother-in-laws, Rabbi Yochanan and now no longer Reish Lakish, Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish. Rabban Shimon ben Lakish and Rabbi Yochanan, you see a lot of disputation, friendly, for sake of having disputations. And these go on for decades, until the Talmud described a painful story. It was a discussion of a ritual impurity of vessel that attach, for example, as you know, if someone attach a dead body, therefore that item is basically ritually impure. So imagine if a person who's alive, just for our understanding, touch a utensil and then he's no longer among the living. So obviously, in a sense of Rabbi Yochanan, he said you have to trash it. Reish Lakish said, obviously based on his experiences, he said no, you can put it in a fire, you can have some filing, some different way, so you can get rid of the cover, yet you observe the utensil and it can be used. Upon hearing that, Rabbi Yochanan said to Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish, his brother-in-law, guess what? That's not really fair. You have all your old experiences and therefore you know how to treat it. Imagine in our modern days language. It's not fair because once in your life you are a thief, you are a robber, you know how to break homes, break banks, break savings. So obviously you know how to treat utensils. Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish was very offended. He left, passing away. Later Rabbi Yochanan himself passed away out of great agony. But the point, deep point, the rabbis tells us is that Baal Tshuva, a penitent, a person who forsake his past, forsake his sins, expect to be a total fresh. The moment that you remind a convert, or you remind a penitent, or you remind a past criminal that now is a good person in society, his or her past, you obviously not only committing a sin, you basically tell them that the past is not obliterated, it's still there. And that's the deep point of Kol Nidre ve'esarei that brings people to synagogue. And that's the point, beautiful point of Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi as well as Franz Rosenzweig. The idea that a person understand ve'esarei, my craving to a past, my psyche, my mindset, my background, my connections to these old painful mistakes, error that make in a past. I want you, God, to help me to get rid of that. That I should no longer crave to those things that I'm weak. And each and every one of us have some points that we are not so strong, we're weak, we fail. That makes us human, that makes us part of society. And our goal is to improve God's world and to make the world a better place to live. And therefore we are together for Kol Nidre services, not only as a community, not only as a people who taking out the Torah and make this declaration, but we are in a way a free people. Kol Nidre ve'esarei, ushvu'ei, v'charamei, v'konamei, all those things that belongs to the past, all those things are no longer part of us. May this year will be a year of good health, prosperity, be forgiven to each other, and may Almighty grant us that all of our prayer and wishes will come true for good. Amen.